Carl was surprised to see Li Han. He could not believe that Li Han took out his entire gang by himself. He quickly realized that Li Han was not alone. He asked Li Han about who he brought along. Li Han asked Kuro to come out of hiding. He told Kuro that he can handle Carl by himself. Li Han told Carl that he came to avenge Jose. He told Carl that he wants to spar with him. Carl picked up a wooden sword next to him and told Li Han that he will crush him. Li Han took a stance and told Carl to try his best. Carl rushed to attack Li Han. Li Han blocked his attack and used his spear to hit Carl on his head. Carl was shocked to feel the weight of Li Han's attack. He rushed to attack Li Han out of anger. Li Han dodged the attack and used his spear to hit Carl's stomach. Carl began to tremble when he felt the attack. Li Han told him to not cry. He told Carl that his punishment is just beginning. Carl was annoyed to hear this. He attacked Li Han again out of anger. Unfortunately for him, that was a bad choice. Li Han began to use his spear to attack Carl mercilessly. He beat Carl to the point that he was crawling on the ground. Carl could not believe that Li Han was able to overpower him so easily. He could not believe that a kid his age was so powerful. Li Han asked Carl about why he beat Jose up when Jose was already injured. When Carl heard this question, he believed that Li Han was looking down on him. He was annoyed to see this. Carl was considered a genius and a renowned actor in Germany. His father took advantage of his fame and used it to fulfill his political ambitions. Unfortunately, there was no end to his father's greed. Carl's father asked him to trample on everyone in order to become a Psyker. Carl stood up from the ground and told Li Han that he will not lose to a bastard like him. He took some sand from the ground and threw it at Li Han's eyes. While Li Han was shaking from the pain, Carl quickly attacked Li Han. Carl grabbed Li Han and prepared to attack him. When Kuro noticed this, he rushed to help his friend, but he is stopped by Carl, who tells him to not come closer in a terrifying tone. Timid Kuro was shocked to see the horrifying look on Carl's face. Carl picked up Li Han and began to punch his stomach mercilessly. Kuro could only look in fear as this was happening. After punching Li Han for a while, Carl let him go. He picked up a stick and said that he will never allow anyone to trample over him again. Before Carl could use the stick to attack Li Han, Kuro threw a rock at him with his telekinesis. Carl was able to stop the rock. He was annoyed that Kuro would interfere in his match. Kuro told him to leave Li Han alone. Carl walked up to Kuro and asked him if he also wants to climb over him. He grabbed Kuro's clothes and told him that he never liked him. He told Kuro that he does not understand why someone like him was allowed at Ark. While Carl was talking to Kuro, Li Han stood up and came to Carl's back. He punched Carl so hard on his face that he flew back. With a horrifying look on his face, Li Han asked Carl if he is powerful. He reminded Carl that he had to create a gang and hid behind his members. Li Han told Carl that Simon, Dimitri, Jose, and Kuro are geniuses who are better than him. Carl began to tremble when he saw the look in Li Han's eyes. Li Han asked Carl about how he is going to climb up when there are so many geniuses who are better than him. He told Carl that he is nothing in Ark. Carl was shocked to hear this. Li Han picked up his spear and put it next to Carl. Carl was surprised to see that Li Han spared his life. Li Han told him that everyone has a reason to climb up. He told Carl to find another way of climbing up. He told Carl that he will kill him if he ever touches any of his friends again. After saying this, Li Han and Kuro left. Carl began to laugh after they left. He realized that he could not become a Psyker. After the children left the island, Carl left Ark voluntarily. Li Han and Kuro returned back to Jose to share their good news. The boys spent their remaining 3 days peacefully on the island. After 3 days passed, Ark helicopters arrived to pick the students up. Jose was very happy to see the helicopters. He said that he never wants to return to the island again. While the students were waiting for the helicopters to land, the other students began to thank Li Han and his friends for sharing their food with them. Jose told the boys to thank Li Han instead of them. While Jose was talking, Li Han and the other children received a message on their bracelet terminal. Sergeant Red congratulated the students on finishing their test. He told the students to step into the helicopters after they are called. The scene shifts and we see Sergeant Red staring at Li Han, Kuro, Dimitri, and Simon. Sergeant Red told the boys that their survival training was monitored by the instructors, with a horrifying look in his eyes. Sergeant Red told the boys that their survival training is not a regular training. He told the boys that the training was made in order to find out which children would be worthy of becoming humanity's guardians. He told the boys that the 4 of them have been selected as candidates for the advancement to Level 2. Li Han became nervous when he heard this. The scene shifts and we see Jose invite Li Han to play soccer. Li Han was surprised to hear this. Li Han accepted Jose's offer. The reason the boys are able to play right now is because they are on holiday. This does not happen often. Lee Han, Jose, and Kuro got into the same team, and Simon, Dimitri, and other students were on the other team. Dimitri told Simon that they are not allowed to use psychic abilities in this match. Simon told him to not worry about it. After the teams had been made up, the match began. At ARC, holidays are only given when there is a matter of great importance. Today, all the instructors of Level 1 are in a meeting to discuss the advancement evaluation for Level 2. In the meeting, Sergeant Red and his fellow instructors gathered to discuss about their students. The meeting was headed by ARC's Chief of Staff, Alexander Recker. Sasha Grace, who is ARC Ward 2 head researcher, asked the instructors about the boys after seeing the details about Simon and Dimitri. Alexander was certain that they are students who are capable and competent enough to join Level 2. The only person Alexander had an issue with was Lee Han. According to the report, Lee Han's psychic level is the lowest in history. Alexander believed that Lee Han would still be in Class D if he was not given special treatment by Sergeant Red. With a serious look on his face, Alexander asked the instructors to give him a reason to allow Lee Han into Level 2. Instructor Wei asked Alexander to check out the fight between Lee Han and Sergeant Red. He told Alexander that Lee Han possesses outstanding weapon handling ability and an amazing mentality. He told Alexander that Lee Han has everything a good soldier needs. Alexander was surprised to hear Instructor Wei praise a student so highly. Sergeant Red knew that they had to praise Lee Han well because Alexander does not plan to allow him advance. He told Alexander that Lee Han's telekinesis is quite refined among the students. He was able to confirm this in the fight he had with Lee Han. He told Alexander that Lee Han came up with different ideas on his own while fighting with him. The scene shifts and we see Jose cheering Lee Han for scoring a goal. Dimitri asked Simon about how Lee Han was able to pass through him. He believed that all the people in England were good at football. Simon was annoyed to hear this. He was surprised to see how stupid Dimitri was. The scene shifts and we are taken back to the meeting. Sasha was shocked to see the report about Kuro. In the report, Kuro is reported as psychological sensitive. She reminded the instructors that after the physical transformation operations are over, the most important thing for a student is mentality. She screamed and asked the instructors if they want her to kill a child. Sergeant Red perfectly understood why Dr. Sasha was worried. He told her that Kuro's psychic advancement is the greatest in mankind's history. He told her that Kuro has already surpassed all the psychic geniuses. Additionally, Kuro possesses a special ability of short-term foresight. This is very vital to ARC's operations. Alexander was annoyed that Kuro is held back by his mentality. Sergeant Red told him that Lee Han must advance with Kuro. He told Alexander that Lee Han greatly influences Kuro's mentality. He made Alexander understand that Kuro sees Lee Han as an older brother. Alexander was annoyed by the fact that the problem still revolved around Lee Han. He realized that Sergeant Red and Instructor Wei really want Lee Han to advance. The scene shifts and we see Lee Han and the other boys playing. Lee Han passed the ball to Jose. Jose dribbled his way into the front. When he got close to the net, he noticed that Dimitri and Simon were waiting to stop him. He quickly passed the ball to Lee Han. Lee Han carefully aimed his shot into the net. Jose congratulated Lee Han on his goal. Lee Han told him that they make a great team. While the boys were cheering, Sergeant Red came to meet them. He told the boys to stop playing. He told the boys that the advancement evaluation meeting is over. He told the boys that the candidates have been confirmed to move to Level 2. Fear took over Lee Han when he heard this. Jose placed his hand on Lee Han's shoulder and asked him about his odd expression. He congratulated Lee Han on his advancement. He told Lee Han that he will join them soon. Lee Han became relieved after hearing Jose's voice. He stretched his hand out and told Jose that he is waiting for him in Level 2. After the boys shook hands, Sergeant Red asked the students to return back to their dorms. He told Lee Han and his friends to pack their bags and be on standby. Before Lee Han went in his dorm, he turned around and thanked Sergeant Red. He told Sergeant Red that he would not have advanced to Level 2 if he was not promoted to Class B. Sergeant Red brought out a cigar and told Lee Han to not thank him. He revealed to Lee Han that he can no longer leave ARC. He told Lee Han to thank him after he is done with Level 2. He put his cigar in his mouth and told Lee Han to survive. Lee Han salutes his sergeant after hearing his advice. The scene shifts and we see the four boys meet up at sunset. Lee Han told Dimitri that they are to meet the doctor at Ward 2. While Lee Han was talking, he noticed that Kuro was trembling. He placed his hand on Kuro's shoulder and told him not to worry. Kuro told Lee Han that he is terrified because they are going to undergo a surgery that will turn them to adults. Dmitri did not understand why Kuro was scared. He was excited to become an adult because he can now become stronger. Simon became convinced that Dmitri was stupid. Dr. Sasha welcomed the students to Ward 2 when they arrived. She told them that she will be taking care of them for 5 weeks. Lee Han was surprised to hear that the operation was going to take 5 weeks. Dr. Sasha told him that they will spend their first 2 weeks in incubation, and they will use the remaining 3 weeks for rehabilitation. The children were not excited with the fact that they had to spend 2 weeks in a machine. Lee Han was also shocked to hear this. He placed his hand forward and told the boys that he will see them in 2 weeks. Dmitri and Kuro moved close to Lee Han and placed their hand out. Simon believed that the boys were being too childish. After seeing how Lee Han motivated the other boys, Dr. Sasha finally understood why Sergeant Red recommended Lee Han. 1 week ago, we see Dr. Sasha and her assistants place the boys into the machine and insert a fluid into their tubes. When the fluid entered the tube, the boys began to shake. They felt like they were suffocating. Claustrophobia is something every child of their age experiences. Dr. Sasha did not like the fact that the children were in pain. She asked her assistants to insert a needle into the cube and put a surgical instrument that will induce sleep. Some days later, we see Lee Han and the other boys sleeping in their tubes. A week has passed since the procedure began. Fortunately, nothing bad has happened. Dr. Sasha is quite worried because today's procedure is a critical moment for the boys. Before beginning the procedure, Dr. Sasha wondered if humanity must go through such lengths just to survive. Dr. Sasha's assistant noticed that Dr. Sasha was tired. She asked the doctor to rest in her office. When Dr. Sasha arrived at her office, she saw Sergeant Red waiting for her. She was surprised to see this because Sergeant Red always says that he has no interest in the children, and yet he comes to ask her about their progress every day. Sergeant Red told the doctor that he checks in on her to make sure that she does not accidentally damage the boys. Dr. Sasha was annoyed to hear this. She told Sergeant Red that the operation is going well. She told him that they are currently inserting the second culture fluid. The second culture fluid consists of a dragon psychic core. It is a highly concentrated liquid that has diluted parts of a dragon's heart. When the children are forced to resonate with a dragon's heart, they will be able to use their psychic abilities more naturally. Sergeant Red believed that this might help Lee Han. While the two were talking, Dr. Sasha gets a message from her bracelet terminal. She quickly stops what she was doing and rushed towards the lab. Sergeant Red also followed her. When they arrived at the lab, Dr. Sasha's assistant told her that Lee Han has woken up. She told her that Lee Han will soon feel an excruciating amount of pain. Dr. Sasha realized that she needed to shut down the machine. When she grabbed the lever to stop the machine, Sergeant Red grabbed her hand. He told her to not stop the process. He told her that Lee Han must advance to level 2 at all cost. Dr. Sasha was lost in thought. She did not know what to do. The scene shifts and we see a man talking to Dr. Sasha in her office. This man turns out to be a grown-up Lee Han. Dr. Sasha told Lee Han that there has never been a case like his in the history of ARC. She told Lee Han that this is the first time she is seeing a Psyker display resistance to psychic abilities. The scene shifts and we are taken back to the day of the incident. We see Lee Han trembling and shaking in pain. Dr. Sasha begged Sergeant Red to allow her to turn off the machine. She told Sergeant Red that Lee Han is in excruciating pain. With a serious look on his face, Sergeant Red told Dr. Sasha to continue without psychic resonance. He assured her that Lee Han will get through the pain. The scene shifts and we are taken back to the present. Dr. Sasha told Lee Han that he has a special case where he only grew bigger but did not become stronger psychically. She asked Lee Han if he feels anything wrong with his body. Lee Han told her that he feels refreshed. He told her that he is okay with his situation because now no one can send him home if he has low grades in psychic tests. Dr. Sasha was surprised to hear this. She could not believe that such a young boy has such an amazing mentality. She completely understood why Sergeant Red was always praising Lee Han. Psychic abilities are directly associated with one's mentality. Dr. Sasha did not understand why Lee Han had such a poor psychic ability when he has an incredible mentality. She believed that Lee Han's problem might have something to do with his psychic resistance. When Lee Han stepped out of the doctor's office, he meets a grown-up Dmitri and a grown-up Simon. Lee Han could not believe that 5 weeks passed so fast. He was more surprised by the change he saw in Kuro. Lee Han was very happy to see all his friends. Simon was annoyed to see Lee Han's face. He told Lee Han to stop being arrogant and acting like a leader. After saying this, he walked away. Lee Han was not offended by Simon's behavior. There is no difference between level 2 and level 1 from outside, but starting from level 2, You start training in squads. Each squads have 4 to 10 members currently. There are 12 squads in level 2. Kuro and Lee Han were assigned to Squad 7. When Lee Han and Kuro arrived at their squad, the leader introduced himself and welcomed them to his squad. The leader's name is Kato Suki. He told Lee Han and Kuro that there are several types of training, but there are 3 core training among them. These 3 are firearm training, airborne training, and mock battle. Kato asked Lee Han if he understands why they have firearms training. Lee Han told him that modern firearms are still effective against minions, the minions which humanity is familiar with a low intelligence like ogres, grunts, and werewolves. There are also high-intelligence beings called Elu. The Elus serve as mid-level commanders, and they can also use psychic abilities. The Elus can ward off physical attacks, but they are not beings of unlimited energy like dragons. They will eventually run out of power and become targets. Kato told the boys that airborne training and mock battles are also as important as firearms training. He told them that mock battles are held in artificial forest within Ark via small-scale battle training arenas. The aim of the event is to steal the opponent's flag from their base. It is an event that requires elaborate strategizing, and it focuses on individual abilities. It is also a very dangerous form of training. This is because steel weapons can still cause severe damage to an opponent. The airborne training, on the other hand, is carried out using airbits. The goal of the training is to make your opponent fall. Because of the way training is done, one always needs a supporter. A supporter needs to manipulate the various airbits to allow their members to travel. Supporters also need to assist the members well. Squad 7 does not have a lot of skilled supporter. Kato believes that their situation will change now that Kuro is in their team. Kuro was not happy with the fact that Kato placed all his hope on him. He did not know what to say. A huge student behind Kato was annoyed to see Kuro's reaction. He asked Kuro to respond to their captain. He told Kuro that his opinion does not matter. He told Kuro that he has to do whatever the team requires from him. Lee Han stepped up to help Kuro. He assured the student that Kuro can do what they ask. He told the man that Kuro does not work well under pressure. The student was annoyed to hear this. He moved close to Lee Han and asked him to shut up. Kato stopped the man from causing a scene. He told the man that Lee Han is still new to the level. He told Lee Han that while they are all in level 2, the people in the squad are seniors who have more experience than him. He asked Lee Han to be respectful to everyone. With a devious smile on his face, he told Lee Han that the only reason he was able to enter Squad 7 was because he wanted Kuro to join his squad. He told Lee Han that he and Kuro are a package deal. He told Lee Han that he does not expect much from the lowest-ranked psychic. Kato and his entire squad began to laugh at Lee Han. Lee Han was annoyed to see this. He put himself together and told Kato that he won't get in his way. He stretched his hand out to shake Kato. Kato was surprised to see how calm Lee Han was. He shook Lee Han's hands with confusion in his eyes. He was certain that Lee Han was an arrogant bastard who would not last long in his squad. Guys, we have come to the end of our video. If you guys want part 6 of this video, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button for more recaps. See you guys later.